I'm sure at least once in your life you've heard a ghost story. Throughout my life, I've been told multiple tales of visions and sensations that cannot be explained by anything in this world. I have also been told how the idea of this is entirely illogical, but I've never decided for myself what I see to be true. I'm going to seek out other people, hearing their experiences and opinions, as well as trying to get an experience of my own. Today, I'm going to try and make up my mind, and see if I think ghosts are real. So the first thing I did was get some stories from people I trust. A good place to start was my mum, who I knew believed in the paranormal.
When I was a teenager, I was curious about the paranormal, and I had tarot cards, runes, and I thought I'd take it to the next stage. So we got involved with doing Ouija boards, and they moved a bit, and we thought, oh, okay, we think it's real. And then a couple of evenings later, I was in bed, and I felt this pressing on my chest, as if somebody had sat on me. And I thought, I don't know whether I was imagining it, but then we went on the Ouija again and asked if somebody has visited me the evening, and they said they had. So I still think now that that's what it was. Or quite a while after that, I went to a friend's house who actually had a proper Ouija board. We got somebody called Gil or Jill. He was very nasty with the things he said. There was a lot of swearing. Because we were scared, we finished, not properly, as I've discovered now. And then the lights started flashing in a house, so we got scared and went back to my house. And when we got back to my house, the lights were flashing again. I never did it again after that because I was so scared.
I remember in my sister's house about 10 years ago, woke up in the middle of the night to see a dark figure standing by the side of the bed, and that was pretty scary. I thought at first it was my daughter, so I sat up and said her name, and then it just shot away, and I realised that the door was shut and I didn't hear it opening and closing, so clearly there was something there. And I mentioned it to my sister the next day, and she said, yeah, she said, I think there's something wrong with that room. I thought, thanks for putting me in there, So there's that. And also I had, I suppose it was an angelic visit once when I was going through a very, very tough time in my life. And I guess your sceptics could say that it was because I was stressed and so on. But for me, it was very, very real. And it was a message of tremendous comfort, which I can remember vividly to this day, of actually sort of seeing this angelic creature telling me that everything was going to be fine. And it was tremendously moving. But it's only happened the once, unfortunately. I wish sometimes it would happen again, but there we are.
But not everyone I know shares the same opinion.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm studying philosophy at Battersby University, and I don't believe in ghosts. The reason I don't believe in ghosts is because I don't believe in an afterlife. And so ghosts just don't make sense if there is no afterlife. Once you're dead, it's annihilation. With sort of paranormal experiences, I'm very sure that the people experiencing them are experiencing something, but it's not necessarily because of ghosts.
I wanted more information on what these causes were, so I asked them to explain why people hear voices and footsteps when they're alone.
Well, again, they're probably just hearing a noise that sounds like it, and because the way that your brain's wired, you'd rather pick up like a dangerous sound than not hear something dangerous. It's the same sort of principle how you see faces and everything. That's another one actually, isn't it? Like how like people look at like pictures and photographs and stuff and go, oh, it's a ghost because it looks like a face. But like literally everything looks like a face. Like that's like the back of cars look like faces. It's useful for people to recognise faces, and that's we evolved in that way. The problem with the proof in a lot of these cases is the fact that these people hold an unfalsifiable claim or belief, and so no matter what proof sort of turns up or is discovered, it won't convince them otherwise. You shouldn't have to prove it's not a ghost, you should have to prove it is a ghost.
So the next thing I thought I'd do is exactly that. Try and find a ghost for myself. I researched online the best ways to contact one, and the Ouija board seemed the most accessible. I researched how to do it safely and respectfully. I found a couple friends who also had the same viewpoint as me, unsure that ghosts were real but not opposed to the idea.
Hi, I'm Darcy and I'm doing a Ouija board with Ella and Rachel today.
I'm Rachel and I'm doing a Ouija board with Ella and Darcy.
No, I've not done a Ouija board before. Yeah, I asked my mum and my granddad, what do you think about it? And they were just don't mess with things that you don't know about, and that's worried me a bit. But my dad is complete the opposite and is it doesn't exist and it's all in your mind and all that kind of thing. So it could really go either way.
At the moment I'm feeling a little bit nervous, but not too bad. But I think as we get closer to doing it I'll be more nervous. But Ella's researched it a lot and she's looked into it properly, so I think we know how to do it correctly. So that's put me at ease. I don't know what to expect because I haven't really done anything like this before. I've seen YouTube videos and things, but I don't know how scripted they are, so I can't fully get an idea of what it's going to be like, but I'm guessing it's going to be a bit scary.
I asked other people what they thought of me doing a Ouija board.
No, I wouldn't say that you do, because it is. I feel it's quite a dangerous thing. The way that we look at Ouija board is that I think you'd have to be very, very clued up as to being able to protect yourself and everybody around you, because somebody likened it as a bit like opening your front door and leaving it open at night time and putting a big sign in the garden, step in, anybody come this way. So you're likely to have troublemakers walk in. And so it is with the Ouija board. It for some reason, however it works, it seems to be a portal to troublemakers in the spirit world. So I would say that it is quite dangerous, and I would never, ever do it at home.
I think there's nothing wrong with doing a Ouija board as long as you're careful and you do it properly and with people that you trust. You need to make sure you're with people you trust when you do one, and just go into it with an open mind.
The best thing would be to do it in some neutral territories, as say not in a person's home. Maybe you don't want to do it in children around because they might sort of be influenced, but at the same time I think that it's too big an area for it to become tainted by some unworldly presence.
I felt confident with the research that I'd collected, so off we went to the park to do the Ouija board. Here we are at the campsite, at the Ouija board site, so we're going to light the candle. Okay, the candle is lit here. So we protect ourselves. So we are safe.
I'm protected.
We will not bring spirits home.
The way I protect myself, sometimes if I'm a little bit anxious about, perhaps I've had an awkward reading or whatever, is you can protect, you sort of visualise what we call an auric egg. It's like a sort of a shield that you put around yourself of protection to sort of not let yourself be influenced by negative energies.
Just envision a white light around you, so we are protected, we are safe, we will be fine. The energy and spirits come forth, we welcome you if you're good. Come on then, girlies. Yeah, sure. So gently place circles, let's all move it now. If there are any spirits here, we welcome you to communicate with us, but through the board only. This is hello, this is goodbye, these are numbers, this is the alphabet A through Z, this is no, this is yes. If anything is here, move it to yes, please. Now all we needed to do was wait. Every so often we would try and open the board again or ask if there's anyone there. Are there any spirits here who want to communicate with us? If so, hover over yes. I asked Emma how the environment can be affected by spirits when using the Ouija board.
I think when you feel the temperature drop in the room, and it can do, I think the temperature can actually sort of really plummet and you just get a really nasty feeling. a draft of air that's come from nowhere, that sort of thing.
If there are any spirits here,
Relighting.
And when it starts spelling out rude or hateful messages, that's the point at which you stop. I've even known people who said they've seen stuff flung across the room by itself, and that really is when you turn the glass up and say, right, that's it, get out. So I think that's the point that you would know, because it would just start to feel really nasty.
My research had told me to wait at least 15 to 20 minutes before giving up.
should we say goodbye?
Yes, okay.
So you move the planchette to a goodbye, and just sort of, I would say out loud, right, thank you, I'm done, sort of thing. So you may leave now.
Thank you, spirits. We are going to say goodbye now. Goodbye. After this first attempt, we did it 2 more times. Once without the cameras rolling to see if that was affecting it, and the other time changing a few things to see if that would make a difference. We did them both for around 15 to 20 minutes, but nothing happened.
So we just got back from doing the Ouija board in the park, and it didn't really do anything.
I would say my belief in ghosts is lessened quite a bit. Just because I feel like the setting was really right, and like we obviously followed all of your rules, and like I feel like we did everything that we were supposed to, and then still nothing happened.
Because the existence of the paranormal isn't falsifiable, no one can say with absolute certainty what is true.
Anything supernatural you can't prove or disprove. And so it becomes a matter of like belief or faith or whatever you want to call it. I'm not necessarily saying that like I definitely think that there's no chance that ghosts exist.
An opinion that is already formed isn't easily going to change.
I still don't know if I believe in ghosts or not. I think even before we started doing it, I didn't know. I kind of like hope they're real, but this has kind of like made me think, this has gave me a reason for them not to be real, as before I didn't have a reason for them to not be, but this has kind of gave me a little bit of a reason to push towards the idea of them not being real.
When talking about the Ouija board, I found people trying to explain it logically.
There's still some element. It might have been like the setting that we were in, like the park might just not have had any at that time, or like that might not have been the right medium to connect to them. Like obviously we still can't know for absolute certainty whether or not.
I still think that somebody needs to be slightly psychic to do it, to bring them through.
I've had family members do one and when they were younger and say that it was real and say that it moved. So now looking back on it, personally, I think that someone that they were doing it with must have been moving it.
There are always going to be different opinions on the matter. There isn't a right or wrong answer. The whole thing is subjective.
It's fine for people to be sceptical, because not all of us have to think the same way about stuff. I suppose I'd rather people keep an open mind rather than just say it's all rubbish. And I sometimes think that when people say it's all a load of rubbish, they're actually quite scared. It's quite nice to see people change their mind.
There's nothing wrong with believing in ghosts per se, but it's just what you do with that. Because there's something wrong with the people who take advantage of people who believe in ghosts.
I've had to sometimes really help people who've had terrible experiences with fortune tellers who've told them things like they're going to have a bad accident or somebody's going to die. And I think that's incredibly irresponsible.
I feel a lot of people want the paranormal to be real. The thought of only us being on this world is quite boring and maybe even scary.
I think I'll always be sceptical because as I've said, like I hope they're real, because I think for there to be nothing out there but there's all these stories and like all this like things behind it, and then for none of it to be real, I'd just be like disappointed.
There is no definitive answer. I have left this experience how I started it, still unsure. But having heard what everyone else has said, I'm not sure that it matters, as long as you are respectful of other people and what they think. The idea of something bigger than we are is exciting, and I will continue to be intrigued by the idea.